All right, Trump cancels the UN. Here we go. Okay, so I know that sounds like a clickbait headline, and let's be fair. I'll be fair. He hasn't done it yet. Now, it is on the top of my list. On the top of the reasons I voted for Donald Trump is that he has had rhetoric against UN and NATO, both of which must go. The UN is the one we're going to focus on this morning because Trump just had his UN visit, his speech, and a couple things happened. Right? One, notably, I want you guys to look. Of course, where did I put the video? I'm sure most of you have seen the clip of Trump getting on the escalator with Melania. There it is. Of Trump getting on the escalator with Melania, right? And this is definitely something that's worth talking about in particular. Watch as they approach the escalator, right? This is going into the UN, approaching the speaker's platform, right? Watch that again. It didn't just stop as soon as he stepped on it. It's okay. Melania gets on. I mean, literally the moment he put his foot on the escalator, right? And there's people speculating this, that, and the other thing. I don't care what the truth is. I care what the facts are. Okay, so there is a truth of the matter and a fact of the matter, right? And there are some facts where the truth is going to be one way or the other. The truth is we don't know exactly what happened here. We don't have any direct evidence that what actually happened is that some nefarious entity involved with the UN did this on purpose to send a clear message. But let me ask you a question. This is where we can illustrate what I'm talking about the difference between facts and truth. As a matter of practical application and practice. There is a lie that I tell my children. There's a lie that I tell every person with whom the topic comes up. It is a lie that I know to be a lie, and I expect it to be known by other people when I say it to be a lie. And it is the first rule of handling firearms. The first rule of firearm safety. What is the first rule of firearm safety? Every gun is always loaded. Okay? I don't say always treat every gun as if it is loaded. No. I rather intentionally take it a step further. Every gun is always loaded. Now, that statement is factually untrue. It is not a fact that every gun is always loaded. Right? No magazine, nothing ejected. This gun does not have any rounds in it. This gun is loaded because every gun is always loaded. We do it that way. We say it that way, right? So that we take correct, reasonable, proper precautions with a firearm anytime you touch it. Because as Mr. Kalashnikov said when he was presenting the AK-47 to the Congress as a potential fill-in to replace the old Doughboy's M14, when asked why isn't there a safety switch on the weapon, Mr. Kalashnikov said, "His gun is not safe." And he's right. It's not safe. but we treat it that way. We treat it like it's unsafe, even when it's not loaded. So what are the facts on the ground here? This is what in the business of securing referred to as freeze. The President of the United States of America has just on foreign soil been frozen in place, and this is how you create an opportunity for a kinetic strike. You got a camera pointed at the back of the man's head while he's frozen in place at a time when we are seeing unbelievably rapid rising violence from the left. And let's not make any mistake, the left includes the UN. The UN are not your friends. The UN should correctly be viewed as a parasitic, fraternal organization of America's most expensive enemies. I rebuke Mario often on air when he goes down the whole J-pill route, and one of his key points, and we've discussed this on air many times. One of his key points is always we send so much money to Israel and we get nothing for it. That's a high expense with no value returned, right? They're expensive. And my retort is always this: yes, but that does not make them a unique category. That makes them the same as every other ally we have. I got to peek at something real quick. I am not seeing the chats from Rumble. For some reason, okay. Guys, let me know what's going on, because I see. Apparently we're not connecting on Rumble. I just pulled it up myself and it's not there. It says waiting for an encoding server to claim placeholder. Okay. So I guess we're just on I don't know what's going on with Rumble then. Apparently Rumble's having a little problem. So that's weird. Well, we're going to ignore it, and those of you who found us on YouTube will just stick with that, and hopefully the video will pick up on Rumble later and do huge views, because Trump cancels the UN is a great headline. So, like I was saying, this moment right here where they freeze Trump on the escalator. I've heard a lot of speculation that what's really going on here is the UN was trying to send Trump a message. We can make you
President Trump, Schumer.
Right, we can make you unsafe. Because that's what this is. From a security perspective, they have just frozen our high-value individual in an intentionally vulnerable position and exposed him to attack. They've compromised his security. Like I said, we treat every firearm as if it's loaded. We should also treat every clear and present threat to the President of the United States of America as if it is a legitimate and significant threat, because it is. Because let's not mix words. Donald Trump does in fact represent a threat to the UN and to NATO. And what does that mean? What does it mean for Donald Trump to represent a threat to the UN? If the United States pulls the plug on funding the UN, that's it. Neither the UN nor NATO can exist without that the U.S. funds it. It's that simple. If the U.S. says no, then it's over. And that is both a powerful fact that we should be using to leverage what relationships are there for our profit, because we've done nothing but lose in dealing with foreign nations economically. Right? We've heard the Dems crying lately about Trump's prices rising in Trump's America, et cetera, et cetera. And we saw where was it? We saw the claims by the lefties. Here we go. Like we're seeing stuff like this. Pete Buttigieg
doing to this country. If you're wondering when our fellow Americans are going to recognize the damage that Donald Trump is doing to this country, I want to point out that more and more Americans are. This is easy to miss because it doesn't get covered much, but public opinion has been moving quickly and dramatically away from the president. Among young people, he's lost 34 points of support. And I think it's because he's failing to keep his most basic promises. He hasn't brought prices down. They're going up because of his actions. The economy.
Oh, really? Because this is what I replied to him. Y'all remember a few months ago, the Democrats shared this graph to say that prices were at a high, and the president's rapid response unit on Twitter said, "Now hold up." From the time from the time Biden took office to now, like everything to the left of the red square here, that's Trump's first term. And then boom. So, I said, hey Pete, in case you missed it, while you were busy taking maternity leave to traffic some human babies, here's what happened. Never forget, Pete Buttigieg, Pete Booty Juice is a human trafficker. So the fact is that those numbers are what they are because of the U.S. involvement with organizations like the UN, like NATO, right? Because of decades of incredibly bad trade deals. Right. And it's got to stop. The world is the way it is right now outside of the United States, in large part because we've funded it so much that we've actually done them a disservice. Right. So I'll say this much in defense of the rest of the world. Right. You can look at Africa. Amusingly, earlier I was watching the Hodge twins had Andrew Tate on, and Tate was putting forward a theory about why Africa is so poor. And I won't get too deep into the race realism thing for this, but he points out that in places like Africa, you have great weather, right? Weather killing you off is never a huge concern. Abundant food. It's easy to just go pick fruit, pick some fruit off a tree, etc. Right? Where old fat white bearded boys like me originate, epigenetically. It's harsh winters, scarce food. You have to be smart. You have to be persistent. You have to, surviving becomes more difficult and requires more tenacity and more intelligence. Whereas in a place like Africa, what happens is you're so rich in natural resources. You find a cobalt mine and it's easy to make a fortune. You just go dig it out of the ground and sell it. Usually to some white people, fair enough. But because of the abundance that disprefers an evolutionary bent toward ingenuity and cleverness and having to make tough choices and pursue more difficult, rugged activities, you end up with a people who are culturally and epigenetically less suited to a world that requires them to put forward effort. And it's precisely because they've been spoiled by the available wealth. Well, fast forward to 2025, and what has happened? Through funding the UN and NATO, subsidizing the free world with foreign aid distributions and military security guarantees, we've created a world where socialism is for everybody outside of the United States of America, because without the capitalist mega machine that is the U.S. economy, socialism cannot continue to function anywhere that it does. And everywhere that it does function, what you have is an emasculated, pussified, inadequate populace. You have feminized men who are incapable of doing substantive work, who do not value themselves or their families, and for which reason do not seek to do the work required to improve themselves. Aaron Olson says Rumble is working now, but it's rapidly becoming irrelevant because I'm starting to sputter out on the end of this point. Yeah, by subsidizing the world, we've made them weak, right? Look to America herself. We have a pretty broad safety net here, a pretty broad socialist platform of welfare state here. And what does it do? Where everywhere that it touches the lives of people, especially in inner city black communities, concentrated ethno-enclaves, anywhere you have illegal immigrants gathered into a center of their various ethno-diaspora, government funding goes in, disincentivizes productivity and tenacity, and it turns them into weak, plush broodmares. And it's intentionally designed to incentivize fatherless homes and incite more and more rising violence and mental illness. It is a problem. The mental illness that exists on the left is a problem that has been carefully and intentionally cultivated through the application of welfare programs for exactly the reasons we've been discussing in the last 2 weeks since the assassination of Charlie Kirk, because the left needs their faith militant, a guerrilla war party that they can activate by saying, "Someone please rid me of this priest." And Be Controversial says, and now I'm back on the subscription list on Rumble. Okay, good. Well, if we're back on Rumble, then I'll throw a bone to somebody. Go ahead and get one of these out there for you guys. See who wins it. So the rest of the incident, old Donald got caught out on. They shut the teleprompter down on him too.
Very much appreciated.
This was
very much appreciated.
This is funny. So the teleprompter failed, and understand Trump was supposed to get up there and give a 15-minute speech. The escalators and the teleprompters worked fine for the terrorists the same day. But then the Donald gets stopped on the escalator, exposing him to critical threat. And then he gets up on the podium and the damn teleprompter fails. He was scheduled to do a 15-minute presentation, and because the teleprompter failed, he just went for it and just excoriated the UN for an additional 40 minutes. They tried to ruin his 15 minutes, and so he took from them an hour. Buddy, that is my fucking president. That's the guy I voted for that reason, right? Oh.
Very much appreciated. And I don't mind making this speech without a teleprompter, because the teleprompter is not working. I feel very happy to be up here with you nevertheless, and that way you speak more from the heart. I can only say that whoever's operating this teleprompter is in big trouble. Very much appreciated. And I don't mind making this speech without a teleprompter, because
okay, that's on a loop. I was hoping to get to the. I thought that clip had the rest of the statement in it, which was hilarious. We're not watching the whole 57 minutes. Do. Well, fine. This will just have to do.
This was an escalator that on the way up stopped right in the middle. If the First Lady wasn't in great shape, she would have fallen. But she's in great shape. We're both in good shape. We both stood. And then a teleprompter that didn't work. These are the two things I got from the United Nations: a bad escalator and a bad teleprompter. Thank you very much. And by the way, it's working now. It just went on. Thank you. I think I should just do it the other way. It's easier. Thank you very much. I didn't think of it at the time because I was too busy working to save millions of lives. That is the saving and stopping of these wars. But later I realized that the United Nations wasn't there for us. They weren't there. I thought of it really after the fact, not during these negotiations, which were not easy. That being the case, what is the purpose of the United Nations? The UN has such tremendous potential. I've always said it. It has such tremendous, tremendous potential, but it's not even coming close to living up to that potential. For the most part, at least for now, all they seem to do is write a really strongly worded letter and then never follow that letter up. It's empty words, and empty words don't solve war. The only thing that solves war and wars is action. Now, after ending all of these wars and also earlier
Yeah, these are hilarious. that is the speech. They just took the audio from the speech and did the AI characters. And yeah, for the next 55 minutes, he just excoriated the UN. And that's what we needed to hear. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up there, guys. Into the UN. Defund the UN. Defund NATO. Fuck them. Fuck all of them. Right? I think we should draw back from the entire world, go fully isolationist for a little while, let them sort their shit out, stop funding the garbage, and in about 5 years, the socialized medicine systems in Canada and the UK, all over Europe, all over the world, will collapse and go away. The citizens will vote to have their taxes reduced because they won't be getting the services that we're paying for. Because even paying half or more of their income in taxes is not enough to fund their socialist program systems. So we should stop subsidizing the socialist programs that they can't afford. Force them to face up to the fact that socialism doesn't exist unless America foots the bill for it. And after they get their shit together, then we can go back into business with them. And when they come hat in hand, Uncle Steve says U.S. policy should be when they come hat in hand, we'll consider helping them. No, U.S. policy needs to be when they come hat in hand, we piss at their hats. That needs to be the policy for the next 5 years. No more zero immigration, no more foreign aid. Shut it the fuck down. Implement a little bit of austerity here at home. Clean up the books. I mean, it's time to eat rice and beans and pay off the credit cards so that we can go back to watching movies in the theater again. That's where, that's not just where your households are at. That's where the world is at right now. And it's precisely because we've got communist parasites just latched onto our asses everywhere we go. Right. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up right there, guys. Thanks for watching today. Y'all be safe. We love you. And we will see you after I hit the right button so I run the intro this morning and not abruptly end like I did yesterday because I wasn't paying attention tomorrow.